Hello everyone, this is Josh from CollectionDX. I'm here to share something special with you today. This is, in my opinion, one of the greatest play sets of all time. And I say that there's a lot of great play sets out there that are just classic. Castle Grayskull, Snake Mountain, Kenner Death Star, just there's so many. But this one, it is just so well designed, packs so much play value. It was such a fundamental part of my childhood. So I present to you the Fisher-Price Play Family Action Garage. And you think, yeah. No, I'm serious. This is legit one of my favorite play sets of all time. All right, so my childhood memories are weirdly bookmarked by toys. Like I remember how old I was when I got this, how old I was when I got that, where I lived when I got, my first Shogun Warrior, that kind of thing. And there are some toys, well, we moved around a lot. We didn't have a house until I was like fifth grade. So a lot of apartments and that kind of thing, fourth grade maybe. For something to have lasted through my moves and still something recently I played with is remarkable. This is a toy that I probably got in 1976, 77. So I was maybe 4 years old. Okay. This isn't the exact toy. I got this recently. My original one is long gone, but this is exactly the same as mine. There have been different versions of the Family Action Garage, Play Family Action Garage. Most notably, the very early ones, the only big difference was that the peg people were wood, not plastic. Now, I don't have the original people, but I'm guessing the two that I have, 2 out of 4, they're probably fine. But everything else to the set is original and appropriate for the set. And that's like the original ones had wooden bodies, wooden heads, and then at some point they transitioned over to plastic bodies and plastic heads. And then later on, there's markings on the wheels that were different and slightly different color cars. But essentially, this has stayed the same. And I'm going to walk you through all of the reasons why I love this set so much. Okay, there's so much good design from a product design, from illustrations that are used on it, to play value, to durability, to materials. Like it's a 10 across the board. The Fisher Price's little people were these little peg people. They're very iconic now. They're little wooden or plastic pegs that just have really simple faces. This one is all plastic. This one is plastic as well, but they have wooden bodies and things like that. So these are probably appropriate for the set. It's the mother and the angry, douchey looking kid. They had the farm is probably the most recognizable one. There's a castle, the sesame. There's all kinds of things. There's a houseboat, and each of them, like the primary thing was they're durable and they had play value and they were interchangeable. So the peg people that worked with one set worked with all the sets. They all had little furniture and little tables, and you could have a whole adventure just with these play sets. This particular set came with 4 cars: green, yellow, red, and blue. They're very simple plastic cars that have, and you can tell these are early ones because they have the Fisher Price toys on the wheels there. Why one says 28, one says 24. Don't know what the numbers are. There's a 3. I don't know. But they have the little Fisher Price logo on the top there. The gas nozzle on the back. Nothing on that. I guess maybe some Fisher Price vehicles have little hooks to pull things. This one doesn't. Another iconic set they have is an airport one. I think people confuse this with the airport at times. Let's start at the top and go through, again, some of the cool design decisions before we go through the gimmicks. And the set might be a little dirty in some places. I tried my best to clean it. So first thing we have is numbered parking spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. They all have numbers and colors. So educational right there. Kid learns. Number 1, green. There is a turntable here. And if you turn the knob, the car can rotate. So ideally, your car would back out of its spot, crank the car, and it would drive away. There's little like design Easter eggs too. Like, for example, why is there a compass? No idea why is there a compass on top besides it's cool, maybe for helicopters. The base here is made out of masonite. This one has had some water damage, but the decals are in surprisingly good shape. Yeah, and it's just a masonite base with really rigid plastic and paper decals on it. But this is a neat thing. Look, there's a little stop sign there. Like, oh, this kid's driving his car. He wants to go into the garage. He can't because the stop sign's there. Watch. Automatically, the stop sign goes up, and the little kid go in. And if you notice, see how it's stopped there? There is a little lip. Again, another great design feature that keeps the car from rolling out once you push it over the lip. And then when you go back up, that ding is iconic. But what happens when you get to the top floor? The door goes up and the car comes out. What's underneath there? Hold on. There's a little engine room under the elevator. They don't have to do that, but they did. You can also put people in the outside elevator and they can come down to the ground level or the second level, which is nicely a little piece of green grass and some tile and plants. It's just so cool. I also want you to look at this, the graphics here for this, the elevator. Like, it's just, you've got little drawings of peg people just hanging off this cool elevator design. I mean, look at that. What is that? Wait, are these people supposed to have legs and arms and they're just not there? Is that what they're supposed to look like? Inside, you can see the mechanism for the elevator, and it's a rubber band that goes like that, and there's a little mechanism that every time it goes to a certain point, you can see this ding go, and it smashes up and hits the bell, and then as it goes through each level, you can see the mechanism to pop up the ladder is just triggered by the elevator car coming up, and when it comes up, it just lifts up the thing. If you're low on gas, you can come to the gas station, pull out the pump, and fill up your vehicle. Glug, 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 glug. And what a cool touch about this, though, is the gas pump kind of has a face on it, but it's neither a happy nor a sad face. It's sort of a side-eyed, I'm not sure if I like what you're doing here, kid. But it's just amazing. It's so simple and well designed. The second level is this weird liminal space that there are no decals, but I was always fascinated by this in-between level with additional places to park in here. It's just that my imagination really wanted, this is the hidden area, you know? But it too also has a little ramp that connects with the original ramp, the main ramp. So you just can kind of push the car through, comes down the ramp. And underneath the service station is again a whole world of storytelling and mechanical, just wonderful detail. There's a service station with a sleeping dog. There's a go sign, so like you would approach here, the one-way sign, you can come through and go get your gas. There's a jack and a tire and some oil and tires decal there. Like, that is, the design of this is just amazing and timeless. And it's just a paper decal. You know, this is nearly 50 years old, and it's still in good shape. There's some wear, but it's still in good shape. This stuff was made to last. Another iconic accessory with this is the ramp, the lift. But before that, underneath the lift, there is a pit. You know, when you're like in Jiffy Lube, you drive your car over the pit and the mechanics can work underneath it. This is all a kind of perspective here, but very flat geometric shapes for the tools, some steps to come out, caution lines. And this is the lift. The back of the lift, again, has some wonderful details. So grease gun from the ceiling, so like a diagnostic machine, a broom and a mop. 930 is the number. All the Fisher-Price Little People toys have numbers, so this is number 930. This piece here is a little worse. The mechanism isn't great, so I have to help it a little bit. But the idea is that you will click it and see the way this works is there's a peg, and the peg just goes around in a circle and lifts the ramp up. Now, it's a little cranky from being old, it sticks a little, but it does work with a little hesitation, a little encouragement. And the car goes on here. And like a real lift, I'm just going to say here, is that the wheels aren't on the ramps. The wheels are here. So in its prime working condition, the ramp lowers it. Come on, you can do it. There we go. It would lower it down, and then the car sits on the tracks and can just go on its own. This is a caution children sign to be careful to not run over your children. And there's this little path here to a fountain with goldfish or koi in it. Like, what? A koi fountain? What is happening? I can't tell you how much I love this toy. I feel like there's a part of me that would love to just collect this type of stuff. I think one of the reasons why I don't is that this stuff is huge and it would take up a lot of space. Earlier in the year, I was going yard sailing, and I found this. We went to this guy's house in Hampshire, and he had some of these toys out. And I expressed some interest. He's like, "Oh, hey, I want something cool." Brought me up to above his garage, and it was just a world of all of this that was mind blowing. And I had a very, very small bit of jealousy. Like, man, I should just stop what I'm doing and do this, because this filled me with such childhood joy of just so much play value. Now, I started out, of course, with these, right? But I got into Hot Wheels, when I was just a little older, in the mid 70s, and this became an amazing garage for Hot Wheels because you could fit a lot more cars in here than you could these things, and the features still work. You could put a car in here. It was amazing. So it became a Hot Wheels thing, and then Star Wars happened, and it became a base for Star Wars figures. And it became a command outpost that the figures could slide down to escape, and you'd stick them in the elevator, and it was just, again, it just kept playing as I grew up. That it kept playing with me, and eventually we got rid of it. My parents might have thrown it out. I don't remember, but it lasted a long, long time, years. When we saw this at the guy's yard sale, I think it was his. It was his when he was a kid, and the fact that it was in such nice shape and all this, and I made him an offer, and he was like, "Yeah, take it." And so it became mine, and now here it is again. I don't quite know what I'm gonna do with it, but this experience of it has been wonderful. So I don't know. I know you're expecting robots and cheapo bootlegs or whatever, or maybe you weren't expecting anything because I am lazy and don't post a lot. But this thing filled me with joy. Now they did make another one in the 80s, the same basic shape and concept, but just far cheaper and 80s-ier, if that makes sense. Fisher Price, of course, still makes little parking garages for kids, but this thing is, again, it's iconic. It is one of, and again, I think one of the greatest play sets that was ever made. Now, the airport, that's another story.